The Norse god of thunder, often compared to the Greek Zeus or Slavic Perun. He is the second most important deity in the Norse pantheon. Thor is associated with lightning, thunder, storms, sacred groves, masculinity and fertility, as well as the protection of mankind and farming. He is a very fierce and mysterious god, mostly focused on ending his enemies, but he is closer to humans as their protector. Thor is usually depicted as a tall, muscular man with red hair and a long red beard. He always has his powerful hammer Mjolnir, which was a gift from Loki, and with which Thor creates thunder. He is one of the most prominent deities in Norse mythology and therefore goes by nearly 15 names. Thor has a wife, Sif. She is a woman of extraordinary beauty and wears voluminous golden hair. She is the goddess of earth and makes sure the earth is fertile and bears fruit. Together with Thor, they create the perfectly symbiotic duet between the masculine and the feminine. Yet Sif is not the only woman close to Thor. He also has a lover, Jarnsaxa. She is one of Jotun, a supernatural being. He had a daughter with Sif. Her name was Trud, and she was a Valkyrie, one of the female supernatural entities which bring souls of fallen soldiers to stay in Asgard with Odin. With Jarnsaxa, Thor fathered Magni, and Modi with another woman whose name is not mentioned. Their names stand for mighty and wrath, respectively. Legends have it the name of Thor's sons and daughter reflect the values held by their father. The father of Thor is the king of gods Odin, and by his way, Thor has many siblings, for example the sons of Odin and goddess Frigg, Baldur and Hodor, as well as Vali, whose mother is giantess Rindr. Thor is usually accompanied by two loyal servants, Thialfi and Roskva. His means of transport is a chariot pulled by two goats, which he kills, eats, and then resurrects. Thor possessed three powerful magical items. The most important attribute of Thor is his mighty hammer Mjolnir. It could create thunder and served as a dangerous weapon of great power. But it was also a divine object with which one could be blessed. Many Vikings wore pendants in the shape of Mjolnir as an amulet for battles. They were also worn by women for protection. Another magical item owned by Thor was Legingjord. It was a belt that gave Thor his immense power and strength. The third item was Jarngreipr. These were iron gloves, and the name can be roughly translated into iron grippers. They were vital if Thor wanted to wield his powerful hammer. These three powerful magical artifacts were the main arsenal of the god of thunder. The most widely known symbol of Thor is what we call today a swastika. Nowadays this symbol is strongly associated with Nazi times in Germany, but it was not a Nazi invention, rather an inspiration with old Germanic symbolism. Swastika denoted strength, fire and sun wheel, and was commonly drawn by warriors before battles to give them strength. Nazis drew from this tradition while creating their symbols, but it is really worth knowing that swastika was not always a symbol of dark times of oppression and violence, but rather an amulet for good luck and strength in combat. Thor lived in Thrudvangr in Asgard, where he built an oaken hall called Bilskirnir. It was a huge building with over 500 rooms. The fact that the house was made of oak was not a random choice. Oak was the symbol of Thor, and this was why he surrounded himself with it. Thor constituted the archetype of the Viking hero, who would not scheme as Loki or Odin, but face obstacles head first, hammer in his hand. He was one of the more righteous gods, always trying to protect those in need, and bringing death to his enemies. Gods often turned to Thor when a more violent solution to a problem was in order, and he was really the person to turn to in such a situation, as he was not only a powerful, fierce and experienced warrior, but he also enjoyed a good combat, and rarely passed when an occasion to fight appeared. Thor died during Ragnarok. He fought the great snake Jormungand and won, ending the beast's life, but was eventually killed by the snake's venom.